So we are going to start with manufacturing industries. Yes, so the chapter is divided into 4 periods. So in the first period, we are going to do manufacturing industries and its contribution to national economy. So are you actually aware of what the term manufacturing means? Because in class 7, we had studied 3 types of economic activities, right? The first economic activity was primary, secondary, and third was tertiary, right? These are the 3 economic activities. And in primary economic activities, the people earned livelihood from whatever was available in nature, that is extraction of natural resources from nature. So if you are doing agriculture, or if you are doing fishing or mining, it is all an example of primary. And when you manufacture or process it, there we are coming to the term manufacturing. So where you manufacture or process it to something more useful. Okay, like so contribution to national economy. So obviously a country's industrial growth is going to refer to the national economy of the country, because amount of money earned through the industrial sector or the manufacturing sector is going to bring the amount of money that is required for the development of any country. Do you agree to this? Yes. So before we start, of course, this is a chapter from 10th standard textbook, so better have a 10th standard geography textbook and an alert mind. Okay. Let's start, because a 1-mark question can always be asked from here. Manufacturing is the process of raw materials into more valuable products and in large quantities. So just now I gave you example, like if cotton is manufactured into textile, it becomes more costly, right? It adds value to it, because simply taking raw cotton is not going to help me in any way, because I will have to use that raw cotton to make something else which will have more value. So manufacturing is a process of processing the raw materials into more valuable products. So you can be asked a definition, or you can be asked a 1-mark question. What is manufacturing? Then why is it important? Modernization in agriculture reduces employment dependency upon it. Like in the same chapter in grade 7, we have studied that agriculture is done in 2 ways. One is subsistence, where you hardly have any technology that is used. And second is commercial, where you actually replace all those traditional equipment with modern machinery, which is useful in giving us more produce, right? Even the labor, manual labor, is at times replaced with mechanical labor. So modernization in agriculture has helped to reduce the employment dependency upon it, because now machines can do that work. Industrial development in backward areas reduces regional disparity. So if we build up industries, if we build up factories, then it helps to the development of that region. It reduces regional disparity, means no longer that region will be different from the other modern areas or countries or states. That area will develop because of the industries that are set up there. Okay. Manufactured goods that are exported bring in foreign exchange. Remember this concept we had done last time? Yes. Manufactured goods that are, what does it mean? How will it bring foreign exchange? Who can tell me? By exporting. And what will we export? Can you give me an example? Like if we are sending goods from India to some other country, which are textile goods, then it is giving us a foreign exchange. Same way, if we are taking from some other country, it is giving that country a foreign exchange. Okay. So a country's economic strength lies in the development of manufacturing industry. So if we want to say that a country is economically developed, then its major amount of percentage of the income that it earns should come from manufacturing industries. Now, manufactured goods must be up to the international market quality in order to bring in the money. Will people buy your goods if they are not in the desired quality? Because last time we had seen one example of globalization, one impact of globalization was that it gives the people a lot of choice in the market. But what things will you prefer in the market? Do we go and buy anything that we just see in the shop? Or do we actually try to test out whether it is really beneficial for me or it is going to really help me? In what way do you judge that product before purchasing? So if manufactured goods have to be a part of international market and we are expecting some foreign currency from it, then they must be up to the international quality. So you have to keep in mind that manufactured goods must be of international market quality. Then if we study the manufacturing sector share in India's GDP, we can observe that it hasn't been much promising. So we have to somehow accept that even though India is a developing country, if we study India's GDP, we see that most of the people are still indulged in agriculture and our manufacturing industry part is not that promising. That means we are not getting that much amount of foreign exchange or that much amount of revenue from the manufacturing industry sector. So we have to actually do something whereby it can increase the GDP. The National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council has been set up to improve this trend. So the government has set up National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, which will suggest ways by which this trend can improve. Which trend? Which trend can improve? The GDP from manufacturing sector has to be improved. See here the second point. It hasn't been so promising, and if we have to improve it, that's why this organization is set up. Okay. How is the location of an industry fixed? Now we are going to take into consideration the factors which are responsible for setting up of an industry. Come on, before we start, can you all think, because a short question always comes from here. Can you think, what should I take into consideration if I'm interested in opening up an industry? Like which factors should I keep in mind? See, to set up any industry, I would first and foremost require a land, right? Now land require, I either have to purchase it or I have to take it on a rent. Okay, now where do I take this land? That is my question. Okay, so I have to take into consideration factors like raw materials, whether my land, which land I'm renting out or which land I'm purchasing, is it going to be closer to the raw material supply? Is it going to provide me with skilled and unskilled labor? Means will people come there to work? Is it accessible to people? Okay. Capital. How much amount of money do I have to invest in my industry? Because I will have to buy equipments, I will have to buy machines. Okay, I'll have to pay the wages of my workers. So how much capital do I require? And after all this, is the infrastructure so developed that markets would be nearby and I would have less amount of money to be spent while taking my finished products to the market? So all these are the factors that I will take into consideration. Now, however, unfortunately, all these factors cannot possibly be found at one common place. Do you think you can find all this together in one single place? If not, why? And what can be done? Would you find all this in one single place? No. And if it is no, then what should I do then? How should I ensure? Now what should be done? So the location usually depends on majority of resource availability and lower availability cost. So of course I'm not going to find all these together, but I'm going to find few of them together in one place. So that kind of place will be convenient for me. Now while taking that decision, I have to see whether the major resources, that is raw materials, markets, can be easily available or no. And if it is easily available, is it going to be available at a lower cost? Because if I'm spending more money than I'm investing actually, then it is going to bring me a loss from the beginning. So I have to keep in mind that whether my resources, my markets, maximum things should be available to me at an area in a lower amount of price. So how is the location of an industry fixed? Often industries are located in and around the cities. Okay. Why? Because there are many facilities that are available there. If I want people to come and work in my industry, whether it is both skilled and unskilled labor, then they will be living in a city, in urban areas. So that would be accessible to them. Then banking facilities or any other advertising facilities, anything that I require from the tertiary sector would be easily available in cities. Industrialization and urbanization are thus said to be in sync with each other. And what is urbanization? Any idea? Because industrialization is, as the name suggests, growth of industries. What is urbanization? Urban refers to city, correct? You know that there are two types we refer. Urban is city, rural is villages. So urban is city. Now when there are more employment facilities that are available because of this industrial growth, because number of industries, when they increase in a place, obviously they require laborers to work there. So when these kind of jobs are available to them in urban places, in cities, people start migrating from villages and coming and settling in cities. So this process of growth of cities is called as urbanization. Yes, is this clear? Industries also work in collaboration with each other, a situation known as agglomeration economies. Okay, so you have to remember this keyword, agglomeration economies. Means what? No industry is separate from each other. They all are dependent on each other. Can you give me one example? They work in collaboration with each other. Can you give me an example? How they work in collaboration with each other? See, what is produced in one industry may be required by some other industry, correct? So they are working in collaboration. So if for example, I am taking iron ore purification industry, iron ore is being purified to iron and steel. So what output is produced there? Is it required the output of that, is it required by some other industry? Where is iron and steel used? It's used in various other industries. It's used in agriculture. It is used in, see how it is used in agriculture, iron and steel. Can you tell me, think and tell me? Because there is another question that's always framed from there. Agriculture and industry cannot be set apart from each other, or they complement each other. There is one question of 3 marks which is always asked. So what points will you write there? We make implements or the tractor that is used in agriculture from the iron and steel that is obtained. Correct? Yes or no? Or in industry, automobile industry, do we use that iron and steel for making the bodies of our vehicles? Yes.
Or like in construction?
Yes. So obviously each industry is one or the other way dependent on each other, and they collaborate with each other to build up a national economy. So that is called as, what was the word that was used? The key word that I told you, remember, was agglomeration. See here, industrial agglomeration. Okay. So certain keywords you have to keep in mind and you have to use it in your exam. Okay. So first and foremost, from the textbook, you have to keep in mind this point, which is your definition of manufacturing. Okay. So that is production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products. So you can always be asked a 1 mark answer. Okay. Then people employed in secondary activities manufacture the primary materials into finished goods. Okay. For example, workers employed in steel factories or car breweries, textile, bakeries, etc. They all provide services and they are concerned with secondary industries. So you have you gone through the questions which are there for your homework assignment? Yes, there is this question which says that what is manufacturing? So answer for that is already here. Then how does manufacturing industry, sorry, 1 minute. Let me read the question. How does manufacturing lead to value addition of the raw materials? What will you explain in the part of this? Manufacturing, you already got the definition here. How will you explain how does it add value to the natural resource? That means what? Anything that's available in nature is actually manufactured to something more useful under the manufacturing sector. So industries will transform cotton into textile, or industries will transform iron and steel into something else. So which is of more importance and more value for us? Thus it will add value to the things that are already there. So you have to keep in mind. Okay, so industries have made the production processes of anything else add more value to our life. Second question I think is from here. Agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. They move hand in hand. And explain. How will you explain this? Okay, so answer to that question lies here. It is what? Agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. Who will read it for me? Somebody will at least take the initiative of reading it. Yes? Can you read it?
Agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. They move one hand in hand. For instance, the agro industries in India have a major boost to agriculture by raising the productivity. They depend on the latter for raw material and sell their products such as irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, plastic and PVC pipes, machines and tools, etc. to the farmers. Thus, development in competitiveness of manufacturing industry has not only assigned agriculture agriculturists in increasing their production, but also made the production process very effective.
Yes, so this is your answer number 2 as homework, right? So what does it mean? It is complement to each other means what? That what we produce in the industry and the manufacturing unit, those equipments are required by agriculturists or the farmers to increase the production in their farms. So because of that, it is assisting the agriculturists, that is manufacturing unit is assisting or helping the farmers to increase their production. Okay, so first and foremost, and how is farming industry helping them? Farming industry, there are different industries which require raw materials from farms. Like I gave you example of cotton, or it can be jute, or it can be what else? What other? Yes, it can be your wheat. It can be rice. There are various industries which depend on the raw material from these agricultural farms to actually make it into some useful product in their unit. So basically, if you see, these both sectors are not away from each other. In fact, they are complementing each other. So what works for agriculturists is that they give the raw materials to the industry, and what works for industry is what is produced in the industry is used by this agriculturist in order to increase their production. Is it clear? Yes? Now contribution to national economy, this is what was there. It was given in very short in the PPT, so we'll read that and see if there is any doubt. Okay? So now, yes, so what is it that India's manufacturing sector is not showing much of development. Okay, so with appropriate policy interventions by the government, and yes, so you have to take help. I mean, government has to give that boost to the industrialists to improve their productivity, and we have to plan our economy in such a manner that we are investing more in that sector. So the government has made it available that National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council is set up for that purpose. Okay, so I think you have got the points where you will find the answers. Please explain the answers carefully, see the amount of marks that are given next to it, and accordingly submit the assignments. Okay, so you all are doing a good job. Your assignments are submitted on time. Keep it up, and take all these chapters which are from standard 10 textbook very seriously, because you will have to use it next year also. Okay, so I think the time is up. Should we stop?
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.